Hello and welcome to my Module 2 screencast. Today our assignment was to go through blogs and kind of pick apart different educational stuff and how we could use them in future classrooms. And then we had to go through and look at what standard it would fit in, whether it was student or a teacher standard. So we went through different blogs. I highlighted what stuck out to me most and what I would personally use in my classroom. And so let's start off with Holly Clark. I looked at hers and thought this was pretty good. I am aiming to be a preschool or kindergarten teacher, meaning they're little kids, their brain cannot sit there and focus and sit still for a long amount of time. Otherwise, nothing will sit still and really stick in their brains. So, going into teaching, I already knew I would have to learn how to do stations to keep them moving and keep it new so that they're engaged. And so when I saw this digital learning station, I thought that really stuck out to me because when I think of stations in the classroom, I think of moving to different tables and having physical learning tools like blocks or puzzles and all sorts of things like that. I didn't think about having it on the computer. So I just thought this was really interesting. It does talk about here in middle school and high school, but since technology is such a big thing, I think it would be great to start teaching little kids how to use technology and how it can help you and how to be safe and use it correctly. So she does say middle and high school, but I thought that would be great. But yep, small, basically rotations. I think like I said, station rotations is a great idea, especially for little kids that have such a small attention span. Yep, I said I thought that fit into digital citizen really well because it was engaging in safe online behavior. The next blog that I looked at was Richard Byrne, and his was on how to use Canva and Classwork.com together. I have never used Classwork.com. As a college student and as someone who owns her own business, I've used Canva a lot. It's a great free tool to make posts or presentations or all sorts of things just stand out and draw you in. And again, as a kindergarten or preschool teacher, I think it's good to have engaging and exciting, even if it is just a presentation on the board for them to look at, even if maybe it has a little GIF on it or it's just very colorful, just things for them to focus on and that draws their attention in. But I really love that he did a whole blog on both of these because they're both free. They're both great. He has a example here on how he made or how you can make a worksheet on math fractions. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of worksheets online that are not free to teachers, and they really should be. But yeah, right here, add interactive elements. That is great. Students need that. Again, accessible and cost effectiveness, great for teachers. Teachers are always looking for free or low cost stuff. Okay, so I said that was designer standard. It's making making the class and the classwork engaging. This is also a great way to personalize your worksheets and what you are learning to your students. You don't have to go through and do it to every single student, but each classroom is going to learn differently. for the majority of the classroom. And then if you do have a few students that are really struggling teaching and understanding the way that you have stuff set up, then you can change that for those few students or whoever. All right, so the third one is Eric Curtis. He was talking about Google Classroom, and it's just a huge blog and videos all about how to use Google Classroom for your students. He talks about how to create one, how to add students, how to add materials. I have worked with Google Classroom all throughout high school and middle school. I don't think so much elementary. I do think it is more of a, I would say, middle school, and where they can understand like what they're looking at. I think this is a great tool. It's a lot easier because you do turn in assignments online instead of paper, which for middle school, where it's so chaotic and they're so unorganized, they don't have to keep track of so much. And if you do have some students who likes to work ahead, they have that and they can see that and they can do it when if they can, depending on what it is. Some things you can do ahead of time and some you really can't. So I think that was great. Teaches you how to grade assignments. I feel like this is just a really great blog for first year or new students. Like, I think that's great. I said visionary planner. As a teacher, I think that would personally be really nice to see all the assignments. You can make it so the students can't see all the assignments yet and just you, but to see like when the due date is to keep yourself on track, all that, or if you have a student missing, like I think that's a great tool. All right, and then next we have Matt Miller. And then he just brings up AI and how we can use it to up our presentations and worksheets and all that type of stuff. Because there are so many things. My big thing of why AI would be so great for presentation and making it engaging is putting all those small little things into a presentation takes so much time. And it takes a lot of learning. Like you have to take the time to figure out how to go in to Canva or whatever and make it look like this or have a little transition like that. And so I think it's really nice that this blog is teaching us how and what we can use to, oh, there's Canva again, to do that without spending so much time when we really should be focusing on the information instead of the presentation. I said that was designer, again, making teaching in the class engaging and personalizing it to certain students. Our next one is Tony Vincent. And this whole blog just talks about why we should, as a teacher and an educator, take a pause after asking a question. This just makes students think a little bit more about what you are asking and how it relates, and just gets them to really think. I mean, personally, in classes, I've had some teachers do that a lot, and no one ended up saying anything. That's mostly because they were shy and they didn't want to do that. But even when you're like thinking to yourself, like, oh, this is kind of awkward, obviously this is the answer, or this is what someone should say, like, it gets all students thinking, even if they won't say it themselves. So, and I said that was a leader. You're giving students the opportunity to sit there and think and learn and really apply your question to what they were learning during that. The next one is Jennifer Gonzalez. I really liked her blog. So she talked about having community supplies in the classroom. And I think this is a huge thing. My mother works in foster care, and there really just isn't that many students that can afford classroom supplies. But it's like hard because students only give teachers so much funding for their classroom each year. And unfortunately, if they do spend it on classroom supplies and stuff for the students, it usually doesn't last throughout the year. Especially with little kids like kindergarten or preschool, how many times are they really going to keep track of a pencil? Probably not, but you can only, if you go through hundreds of pencils a year, or if one kid only has one pencil and then loses it, like, and they can't get another one, I think it's really great to have a community thing. Or you have students, I saw something the other day, and you have students bring whatever, and if you put out a thing like saying to the parents, like, if you can afford to bring 2 boxes of colors, that would be great, and then you put it all in one thing and everybody just shares it. So it's all equal and everybody has access to the same supplies. It's just great. Um yeah. And oh, I've seen so many TikToks actually about like teachers getting sick of like either their pencils are being stolen or they're getting lost. I don't know. But one thing, this the teacher cups. I think this is great. When I shadowed this past year, I was in a classroom that had something like this where they had a cup for sharp pencils and a cup for dull, and I think that's really great cuz I mean they're just the classroom pencils. Not each person has their own pencil. And then usually cuz I was shadowing a younger age, so I think it was like first grade, and they have like teacher or not teacher student jobs of the week, like line leader, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And one of them was to sharpen the pencils. And I thought that was really good. Like that's just one more thing because I think student jobs are amazing for students and it really does make them feel special. But something about like this with the colored pencils, that's what I saw with the crayons, and it's just again like community. Everybody has one. They learn to share. I think it's great. Um, yeah, and there's a little TikTok, but yeah, basically it's just community. Everybody shares. This, if kids don't manage their own supplies, they'll never learn responsibility or they learn how to share. Like, I don't know. I think there's a bigger picture to it instead of that. Um, but I said empowered learner. Students have access to better learning because each student has the same amount of supplies and access to learning as every other student instead of not being able to do a few things because they can't afford it or don't have it. So the blog I found was kidsactivities.com or kidsactivitiesblog.com, and it's basically just a blog with a bunch of free access. This one I pulled up was positive like thoughts, and you could put them around the classroom. You can say them to your students. I think it's really great. When I was looking through it earlier, there was a lot of um, free things like worksheets. And again, like I said earlier, it is so, so important to have free access to assignments and worksheets and all this other stuff because teachers do not have access to that or cannot afford it themselves. So, yep, I'll definitely be bookmarking this for the future. I think it's great for worksheets. Again, like you don't have to spend so much time trying to make them yourself. Some decor. I saw some locker decor. Just great to make the classroom a little bit more fun. So yeah, thank you.